speak multiple languages, a polyglot, and so you can certainly think of things, in multiple. And by the way, a neat expression for people that speak more than one language is gain a language, gain a soul. Because in a sense, if you think of your soul as this conceptual me, it changes when you switch from one language to another, is the experience of people that do that. Well, since in that sense, objects exist for us as socially constructed objects. And basically the best explanation for that, if you've never read it, is Peter Berger, The Social Construction of Reality. Pretty sure that's where the concept comes from. I think this was 1966, this book, The Social Construction of Reality, and it talks about how linguistically we are creating words for things that we are also creating. My favorite expression for that is Hegel talking about the idea as concrete. It's a Roman invention, right? You don't have something, but you build a mold for it. You fill it with concrete. It's like a gooey, wet substance. But once it dries, it's like a rock. And so this metaphor for ideas is, somebody invents an idea. I have an idea for creating a radio, right? And I actually put one together, add electricity, and it doesn't work. Well, because you only have one. You need two. What was the Italian's name that invented that? Anybody remember who invented the radio? Not manicotti, that's a kind of cheese. Shoot. All right, we gotta ask who invented the radio. You'll ask it? Okay. Brandon's checking that for us. Should be instantaneous. Who invented the radio?
Reginald A. Fessenden.
What?
Oh, to first person to send audio. Guglia. I'm not going to try this. Guglielmo Marconi.
Marconi. Thank you. That's the name I was remembering. Not macaroni. Marconi. Now everybody has a radio, or well, used to. Probably don't have radios anymore. No one uses them anymore. They're in your car though, right? Mm-hmm. Do you use that, or do you plug in your device instead?
Plug it in.
You plug in.
Yeah.
What good is a radio?
Good for emergencies.
So it eventually won't even be in our vocabulary anymore. We'll lose it probably, unless you go to a museum. So, objects are a social construct by this theory. Now, they're built on a form of life, Wittgenstein's form of life. We couldn't have had these, although, how many play computer games? Nobody. One person? One person plays computer games. I'm betting everybody here plays computer games. You just are not inspired to raise your hand in response to my question, because it's obvious everybody plays computer games, and you've killed how many individuals just this year alone? Thousands, I'm guessing? Thousands. With various weapons of various sorts, and probably they're huge guns that no one in real life could actually carry in the field, especially since you're usually carrying them around wearing hardly anything at all, which is just the weirdest thing. You've seen the advertisements. Oh, this is the most realistic game. And you look at the picture and you think, that's totally unrealistic. No person looks like that. Unless they're Japanese, which could be, because they have, I'm not sure what the difference is between a computerized person and a person, because persons are getting closer, AI persons are getting closer all the time. But, those individuals are totally virtual. What's the difference between a virtual object and a real object? There's my quiz question. Obviously, there's no one answering this one. What's the difference between a virtual object and a computer game? And I'm thinking especially Ready Player One, which I read the book, and the book was really good, although it would have made a terrible movie. But the movie is not really based on the book. Not really. Because, they had to change it, otherwise no one would want to see the movie. But in any case, there's one individual in a war. They have a war with the guy who's currently the president of the company that owns the internet, right? How many of you have seen do I have to explain it? But basically there's a war, and the war is not just in the physical universe, which it is, but is also mostly on the virtual world, where literally all these individuals, these users, are attacking the source of the internet. And you have the one individual that's riding in a huge machine, and he's steering it, right? And it reminds me of the concept of a homunculus. Anybody ever heard of a homunculus? H-O? Ho? H-U. Well, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go with Descartes. There we go. I'm thinking of this little guy sitting in the chair. So what you have here is Descartes' Ghost in the Machine parodied. Because what Descartes thought was that we have a soul that lives somehow in the body. It's attached to the body. The body is matter, physical, but our soul is spiritual. It has no physical matter. And yet, the mind for Descartes is somehow connected to the body, and he thought that there was a point in the brain where the body and the soul are connected, and that's the pineal gland, which really demonstrates that he was dissecting humans, which is illegal at his time. But he's discovered the pineal gland, and he thinks that's the place where the soul and the body interact. And so you end up with this hilarious Ghost in the Machine, Gilbert Ryle called it that, of the individual sitting in the head, driving the body and moving the body around. This is just like the character in that Ready Player One, who's driving a avatar or whatever this big thing is. But it's all virtual. None of it's real. And you end up with this problem, and it's going to be a bigger and bigger problem for us, and that is, how do we relate virtual objects to real objects? I play golf almost every night in my downstairs den, whatever we call it. We've never decided what that room is called, but I I put on my Oculus, my Meta Quest, the new one is called, right? And I've got a golf game, and I've got 4 different golf courses I could play at. And my favorite is the Tropical Island. It's a pain in the butt course, but nonetheless, I've got palm trees. I swear when I'm standing in the sunshine, I feel hot. Although I am always wearing a sweatshirt with a hood, because the way the Oculus fits on my head, it slides around unless I have the hood on, and then it's snug, and I can, swing the golf course without having the thing flip off, right? But so here's the issue. We're using the virtual reality, maybe even to talk like you folks out there in Zoom land, right? How many of you are? There's 10 of you there. So that's interesting. Why, this is a really popular class all of a sudden. What happened? A lot more folks here today. That's because it didn't snow, I suppose. How can we tell the difference? It feels real to me. It feels like I'm really hitting the ball. I never lose my balls in golf with this game. Let's not go there. I could get us in trouble. You can miss. I mean, it's very hateful when you click, okay, go to the next shot, and you've neglected to keep your club up in the air. Because if you arrive at the next spot and your club is down, you hit the ball before you're ready by accident. And that adds another shot to your score. So, by the way, occasionally I play with others. It's you can have other people, you can hear them. They have an avatar, so they could set up their avatar so you could see whatever avatar they give you, and you can literally play. Neat thing is, one of the people I've played with has paid for admission to the St. Andrews course in Scotland. And so I've played that course maybe about 4 or 5 times, even though I never paid the dues to be a member of that one. And it's so realistic. As you're coming up on the last hole, there's dogs barking from the town, which is, it's the same dog, the same, but. By the way, this is a, which screen am I actually showing you guys here? Okay, that one. So let's get back to that one. Oops. That's not it. This is it. I think this is the one that I'm sharing. Let's go to
virtual reality is technology that gives you conscious experiences of a world exterior to yourself, but these experiences are all generated by computer simulation. Typically it'll work through a virtual reality headset, something like the Oculus Rift, which you can put on. I'm sitting here inside my Oculus Rift headset, and I might be having experiences of flying through the solar system and seeing the planets in front of me on a rocket ship. In fact, here I am actually just sitting back in an apartment in New York, actually feeding me visual experiences and auditory experiences. So far, the technology is imperfect, but within a decade or two, it could be that these experiences will be completely indistinguishable. Virtual reality technology is wonderful for a philosopher because brings alive some of the greatest philosophical questions. Descartes, hundreds of years ago, said, how do you know that you're not being fooled right now by an evil genius who's feeding you sensations into your mind to think that all this is going on out there, when in fact none of it really exists? Virtual reality immediately raises the question, could we right now be in a virtual reality? Maybe all this was created by machines or hackers in the next universe up, maybe just for their entertainment.